What is up, everybody? I'm up here talking and I didn't even know I was muted. Anyhow, hope everybody's doing well on this Sunday. I didn't even know that I was going to be doing anything today, but here I am. Yeah, so as you guys know, the routine is to hit the like button, share, and subscribe. It's always good, right? So we have a special guest, and I know he was notified at the last minute, but that's what brothers do. We answer the call. I mean, real brothers, you know? So what we're trying to do right now is to bring back awareness of a great man that we have lost back in 2017. He was the one that pretty much gave us the ideal that black men have options. And so this is where we at here. We have some brothers that carried on the mantle, such as Al Grease and a special guest that we're bringing up. I'm gonna have him to introduce himself, right? And I hope you guys get a lot of out of this information that we're going to bring to you. And then also, I want you guys to ponder on some questions that you may want to ask at the end. Try to hold your questions towards the end, because I know some people may be disappointed that we may be passing up your questions, but it's not about passing up your questions. We're just trying to get through the questions that we already have pre-selected, and we're trying to get through the interview. So sometimes we just can't stop in the middle of the interview just to go back and forth with the chat. So I hope you guys understand that. So if you want to, again, if you want to throw the questions out there, some people want to do a super chat question, try to save that towards the end. Hell, if you want to do a super chat shout out, you can do that anytime. But if you have a meaningful question that you want answered, save it at the end. And also, depending on the discretion of our guest that's coming up, he will let us know whether or not if he would like to entertain people coming up and asking him directly. You know, everybody don't get down like that. So we have to honor our guests that's coming through. Anyhow, so again, please come in and hit that like button, share, and subscribe. I believe this is supposed to be the Manosphere show of the week, and we got 21 here. So hey, life is good, right? But anyhow, without any further ado, we're going to bring up our brother right here that's going to explain everything that you need to know to carry on this quest, known as Blackman's Options. What's going on, fam?
Hey, Art, man, what's going on with you, man? Hey, I appreciate the last minute invite, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate you responding. I was like, oh, man.
Hey, man, it's all good, man. I was just on the couch catching up on some reading and stuff, and, I got the bat signal, so I answered the call.
That's how we do it here. Yeah. Yes, sir. That's it. Yeah. Right? And shout out to Volcanus for the super chat. Appreciate you, fam. Let me hook him up here. Give him a nice little sound here.
Thank you, Jesus.
All right. So, I guess I stalled a little bit, but everybody's time is valuable, so we're just gonna get right down to it. So, can you give us a little history of how the Blackman's Options came to be? So, a lot of people still don't know that they don't go that far back with Charles and what he brought to us. So, can you explain that to us?
Sure, I can do that. So, the Blackman's Option is a creation that actually is a term that Charles coined. And when Charles first endeavored to show black men that they had other options outside the matrix, he started back in 2014. And he was actually inspired by Al Grease. We call him Coach. Al Grease is Frustrated, the first documentary. And upon him seeing that, he took it upon himself to start his quest of exploring his options. And Charles was probably the first person that really was showing black men traveling to Brazil outside of Frustrated. Charles was there back and forth. He was giving receipts, videos. He was making contacts with people there, and he was bringing it to YouTube. I honestly don't know anybody else that was more adamant about Brazil than Charles on YouTube at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And Charles's birthday is November the 8th. So he always had a beach party to try to bring awareness to get brothers to come down and see. And he did it in November around his birthday. And he grew our Facebook group, which now we're almost at 20,000 members. His YouTube channel, which he didn't even really promote, and it was monetized, and he still has 10,000 subscribers. And the Blackman's Option was something that he always shouted out, even in his early videos. So we've been around for the longest time. And like I said, upon his passing in 2017, there was a change in the administrative leadership of the group. And unfortunately, that leadership didn't share Charles's vision. So at about 2020, a couple of us pretty much had a mutiny and took back the group to push it back in the direction it's on. And it's been like an 18-month journey for us.
Wow.
And I mean, we're in a better position than we were now. And we've done a lot of things and turned the group around. But Charles, a lot of people don't give Charles his due because Charles was very instrumental in a lot of these YouTubers out here now getting their start. And when you look at interviews that they did or credit that they give, they always give Charles as the inspiration for them going out and traveling or doing things that they're doing now. So, sometimes your heroes are forgotten,
Right.
but we're here to continue his legacy and not let people forget the sacrifice that he made so that he could give brothers the option to either stay in the matrix or explore your options someplace else where you feel happier at.
Hmm. Yeah, could you explain? Because I went over it a little bit, but can you explain some of the things that he has done for brothers that's just going out there for the first time, had questions? Was he always available to assist brothers on those journeys?
Man, let me tell you, Charles was the most giving person that I know. And I've heard that from numerous people that say they picked up the phone and Charles would talk to them for hours. Never met the man, but he would give them information, insight, knowledge. He would share with them and he would help promote them. And as a person, like I said, he sit down and just talk to Charles, to be around Charles. He had a very open personality. Like he was welcoming, even though he was 6'5", 270 plus. He was a very gentle giant, and he was very giving because he wanted to see brothers happy. His main purpose was he wanted brothers to explore their option outside the matrix, but at the same time, he wanted us to be able to develop networks and make connections in the countries that we're in. And
Okay.
and that was something that he was very adamant about. And guys that knew Charles would tell you the same thing, that he was very, very giving.
Right. So we have another brother here that's giving got some love. He said, "I talked to Charles personally. He was always open to talk to anyone seeking advice. Appreciate you,
Yeah.
fam." Yeah. So a lot of us have those stories, and and yeah, I've been hearing some of the politics that were going on, and that's unfortunate. You know,
Yeah.
hopefully, because I remember, I think the last thing he did, I think it was kind of like coincide with some kind of zombie event.
Yeah. So Charles has, well, what he would do is he would have his beach party, and in 2017 he did an experiment where he tried to have a week-long event and promote with someone else, and there was some mishandling of the scheduling of events that had Charles very upset. And I know because I was there.
Hmm.
you know some other things. And like I said, one thing about Charles, like I said, he was very giving, but a lot of people took advantage of his kindness, and it made him upset. But the zombie thing was not necessarily a conflict. Zumbi is more of a holiday that they celebrate in Brazil, celebrating the African history.
Right.
But that particular event, yeah, there was just a conflict of interest with another promoter, and it kind of messed up Charles's last beach party, and he was a little upset about it. But Charles, being who he was, he just worked past it, and he just made the best of a bad situation.
Right. Yeah, because I remember, man. I think that was the same day that Sharon Jones, from that singer, she passed away. The
Yes.
same day he did,
Yep.
and I was watching on television. I was right there at in Copacabana. The apartment was on the Miguel Lemos, I believe. And I'm looking at the news, and then one of his friends, because I was supposed to meet with him, and someone told me, I wasn't supposed to meet with him that day or anything, but eventually I was supposed to meet with him before I go back home. And then that's when I found out that brother passed away, and I'm like, what? That was
Yeah,
kind of that was kind of weird, you know.
yeah.
Um, mhm.
It was. I mean, because it was like for us, we had just been with him. I mean, I think we had ended that tour like on that Monday, because I remember flying out that Monday, and that it seemed like it was a Wednesday or a Thursday that somebody said that he had passed, and I was just like in total shock because when you were just with somebody and you get that news, it kind of hits you very hard because like, damn, I just met this great guy. He's telling me that I don't have to put up with the BS in the states, and that I can come down here and I can have a better life if I choose to, and to meet with brothers from different backgrounds that I didn't know.
Yeah,
That to me is the most beneficial thing that we do as far as having the events, because
right.
you get to meet like-minded brothers that you never would have met in real life. And I akin it to you going through basic training because it's a powerful event that you all take part in, and it bonds you. And some of those guys that were on that first trip, man, those are my best friends.
Oh man. Now, were you there when they were in the there? Uh oh, that
Oh
was
yeah,
Blackman. I'm
yeah,
sorry. I guess
that's okay.
that's struggle for Verizon Wireless, right? For those people that are coming out here, please hit the like button, share, and subscribe. I see some of my people out there. Mel, I'm listening. We got the brother from down under in the building. We got American Brazilian. I think you guys probably might have crossed paths
Oh
on
yeah,
live stream.
yeah, 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 yeah. What's good, Larry? What's good with you, man?
And we got my sister right here. We got Latin splaining with Denise. She's here. Uncle 100 right here. So yeah, we getting some new faces up in here. Um, but we'll move right on here. But I was asking a question because I guess my struggle wireless cut me off. But I
Yeah,
was asking.
yeah, because you
It
went
was,
quiet there for a second.
I know, man. Like gave him a moment of silence inadvertently. Um, the were you around during the production of Frustrated, the first one?
I was not around the production of Frustrated.
Okay,
I think I was going through the motions
right.
when I first found out about Frustrated. So no, I was not. Uh, but I am in Frustrated 3.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that's gonna be awesome. We're gonna break some of those things down as well. How we got from one to two to three.
Yeah,
Um, and I believe there was a part in there. I mean, also where John Thompson responded to was it Essence Magazine about brothers going to Brazil.
right. That was in Frustrated 1.
One, right. Um, I keep man. I could when you talk to John, boy, it's like
Yeah,
he give you
John's a firecracker.
he give you the Gettysburg
Matter of fact,
Address.
matter of fact, I was at the gym last year. I was there last November. I was at the gym right there on Nossa Senora, and I'm in there working out, and I see him coming in there working in. He's over there doing the fly machine. And,
Yeah.
man, he just talking all kind of stuff. I said, man, when you gonna sit down and retire somewhere? I'm like,
He 80 years old,
yeah,
man.
yeah. He 80 years old and talking all kind of noise. Like, man, I'm in here working out. I'm getting it in. I'm like, man, you
Yeah, because it
get
seemed like
it
the
in.
older
Right?
he got more to say. I was like, okay, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I like John. He likes to hold court. But I tell him sometimes, I say, man, you can't hold on, man. You gotta let the young dudes come in and take the reins.
Yeah,
He
he
did
has
good
that
work.
issue too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He can't let go. he,
yeah,
he's scared
he
of
gotta
king.
he gotta tell you something. You gotta hold you
Yeah,
down, get you in a
yeah. He got
headlock.
to tell you something. He definitely got to tell you something.
I'm like,
Right.
because every now and then I try to check in with him, and he said he's doing fine. He's 80 and he's enjoying life, going back and forth. So, shout out to John. Okay, let's go into Al Grease though. You call him Coach, right?
Yeah. So the black man's option, we use certain terminology for members of our board, and we have a general manager, we have a president, and we have a coach. And so Al Greaves is the coach. He calls the plays, and we run them. So
Okay, okay. And
a
I'm
term.
always seeing them. Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
No, I said I'm always seeing because I always get this one particular apartment on Miguel Limos. That's how I always see him at BB's
Yeah,
because I'm
that's our
always
spot. Yeah,
yeah, that's yeah, and I probably ran into you.
you
You know?
probably did, because I'd be tearing up some acai. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Yeah. Because I go over there and I just sit there, chill. They got. I mean, you guys probably have a newspaper or some magazines. You got some paper around because it's all. I guess that's the planning spot. It looks like.
That's the one of the meetup spots that's close to most people. We usually go there, you know, chop it up, get something to eat, and it's close to a lot of the places that we like to meet up when we go out away from Copa. So it's
Okay.
convenient, and it's just like something that we've done for years. And right now BB's is where it's at.
Yeah, man. And then I run into. I mean, he had people. A lot of people sitting with him. He had like politicians sitting by him, people that were in what do you call law enforcement.
Yeah, that was
I'm shaking.
probably us. That was probably us. Black
When I'm
men's
shaking
option.
hands, I'm
Yep.
like, I'm such and such. Like, what do you do? I'm like, I'm a teacher. Oh yeah, man. I said, what do you do? So yeah, I'm the lieutenant such and such. I'm like, oh damn, okay. You know, so he has
Yeah.
some important people with him.
Yeah, yeah,
You
but
know,
that's one thing that I like about when we do our events, that you get black men from different backgrounds and different belief systems and whatnot, and they come together and break bread and chop it up and fellowship, and
hmm
you have a diverse uh, group of men that normally you might not have run into in your normal life, that now you're connected, and it's wonderful because it's something that we try to do here, but we just can't. For whatever reason, we just can't get it together. But outside the matrix, because there's not that many of us that we're able to do that and just network. And like I said, our experience is just like one of basic training, where
hmm
you go through something as a group of men, and you have that connection, regardless of whether you're an Uber driver or you're a multimillionaire.
right. And could you explain? Because that's what he was always talking about, escaping the matrix. I think that was one of his shows, if I'm not mistaken, his podcast.
Well,
Or
yeah. So basically, Johnny Johnson, the one of the guys that was speaking in the first frustrated, he used the term the Matrix to explain America at the time. He
hmm
said he borrowed it from the lady that created, the Matrix and whatnot. But he said that's what it feels like. And he says
hmm
you're not able to get outside and see the uh, uh, the entirety of what's being sold to you until you leave America. It's like America is an illusion. And
hmm
until you leave, you're still stuck in the matrix. And along with that, you have a mindset that goes with it.
right, right. And you guys, please hit that like button, share, and subscribe. We had 33 people, and shout out to the Roger Report for the super chat.
Thank you, Jesus.
All right. And we got I gotta get my Whopper room on here. So we got Jamel around the world here. Appreciate you coming through. We got Ted, was it Gunderson? Thank you. We got Super Blue 1914. Are you a Sigma? I'm just, I know the years. And the color. Okay, yeah, he's a Sigma. Easy. Okay, we got Bear Life in here. Appreciate you guys coming through. We're gonna move on here. So now that you kind of like described the whole what do you call it, Voltron, as you will, of the
Yes.
black man's options.
Yes.
Okay, so moving forward, all right. So after Charles left us, I'm quite sure we'll revisit some of his other moments. But
Hmm.
after he left us, then basically, what did you guys do from there? Or, what were the things what you had to do to pick up the pieces and build King Solomon's temple?
So at the time, there was an individual that was living in Brazil, and that he was actually one of the promoters that Charles was working with, and he took over the group. And at that time, because everything that was going on and it was in disarray, the people that were running the group at the time, because I actually wasn't part of the administration until 2020.
Okay.
But that administration, we refer to it as the previous administration. He took the group, and he didn't really have the same alignment, ideologies and belief that Charles did. He had his own personal agenda that he wanted to push under the guise of what Charles had built. And it you can only hide who you are, who you aren't, for so long. And at some point in time in the transition, it started to show that he wasn't really about continuing Charles's legacy. He was more about putting money in his pocket.
Okay.
And that it was very uneasy for a lot of us that knew Charles, and for guys that had been real supportive. And like I said earlier, it went on for another 2 years, and then there were things that just happened within the group that really were a tipping point. He wanted to remove Al Grease. He wanted to remove the GM, my man Raphael, and the guys that were there from the beginning. We just weren't having it, And to be honest with you, man, it's funny that you mentioned that, but there was a trip in November 2020 that he was promoting, and there was a violent seizure of the group that occurred in a favela in Salvador. And I'm not exaggerating. Most people, they don't. When I tell them the story, they don't believe me. But the brothers that were there, they can vouch for it. The person had arranged an event in a favela in Salvador one way, and then he ended the event in Salvador 45 minutes from where we were staying, because everybody was staying in Barra or the Rio Vermelho area in Salvador. And he wanted those guys to fend for themselves to get back. And it's your responsibility, because you're the host. And he had no qualm about leaving those guys there. He didn't care. Only thing he cared about was putting money in his pocket. And myself, being the mild-mannered person that I am, got upset. And
okay.
And I asked him, a couple of questions, and he got very condescending. And one thing about me is I don't tolerate disrespect.
Right.
So I proceeded to go in his mouth.
Ooh. Okay.
But I was stopped by a couple of members, and I think it shook him to his core, because I'm not the guy that is violent. But when you do something to Charles's legacy, and then you do something to the people that have been supportive of you and lie to people's faces and stuff like that, there's only so much that you can take. And for me, my tipping point was that, because you didn't care about those black men that entrusted you to show you Brazil. Only thing you cared about was putting money in your pocket. So in November of 2020, we started the taking back of the group. And like I said, we have a committee of 12 brothers that have volunteered to meet up, and we started meeting and planning at that point. And when I got back to the States, I filed for a trademark for the Blackman's option. I actually had a Zoom call with Charles's brothers and sisters and his daughter. And they gave us our blessing and permission to continue his legacy. So that's what we've done. And we had to do what we had to do to ensure that nobody's going to be able to take Charles's legacy again and abuse it. So that's why we've kind of been absent for a while, but in the background, we've got our federal trademark, the Blackman's option, and our logo is federally trademarked.
Okay.
We've done 3 networking events. We need funds to be able to operate and do things. And we're just now entering back, having a social media presence. As you can see, we got the Blackman's option,
Hmm.
and what we're doing is a YouTube channel. We're showing receipts
Hmm.
because sometimes we don't want people to think, oh, this Blackman's options, y'all guys are some Johnny come latelys, and
Right.
and like I said last night, like no, we've been here for years, and we got receipts to show that.
Don't call it a
Uh,
comeback.
yeah, don't call it a comeback. We've been here for years,
Right.
you know, and and,
And
and from and from that, we've grown. Like we've had 3 successful trips, and the energy was just so great on the on our trips. I mean, I can't imagine meeting a great group of guys that I've met, and every time we have these events, I just become connected to more and more great men.
hmm. So you mentioned the family. How is the family holding up? His family after it's been what, 5 years now? So
Yeah,
almost
that,
5.
well, his daughter, his daughter is she still struggles, but she's good. She's good, and she had reached out to us about wanting to do something to spread Charles's ashes in Copa, and we're
Really?
trying to work on that. Yes, because he always wanted to be buried in Brazil anyway, and I think that she wanted to honor her father's last wish. She's just very busy. She's in the Navy, so it's hard
Okay.
for her to kind of coordinate a timing where we could all be there. But we'll get to it when the time's right.
Oh, okay. And out there, okay. Now we hitting 43, so we getting up there. So please hit that like button, share, and subscribe. Right. So, you know, again, so if you guys got questions, hold those questions towards the end. Even if you want to super chat them, hold them to the end. But if you just want to super chat for a shout out, I'll take that anytime. And I give you a thank you, Jesus.
Yeah, amen.
And by the way, you guys got like Cash Apps, PayPals for people to donate and things of that nature? Because I do have your channel in my description box. But
Well, yeah, we do. But I think right now we're more focused on the YouTube, the notoriety. We want to actually get more of uh, our um our subscribers up. That's really the big thing for us. And then once we hit 1,000 subscribers, then we want to get into the groove of things. So for right now, just make sure you donate that money to Art, because Art is doing us a justice by hosting us today, and we really appreciate that. So if you're going to drop some bread, show Art some love, and drop a cash app on him.
appreciate that. And I think if anybody out there that has the Black Man's Options channel, I'm going to drop that in the chat myself. But they said they need 1,000 subscribers, so they can start collecting. So yeah, please start throwing that in there. Try to get some more subscribers in. Please share. Do you ever go live like when how Charles used to do it, where he used to just show people like the favelas in different parts of Brazil and have
Well, we're working on that. Like I said, we actually, the channel, we just got this channel up, I think about less than a week and a half ago. So we plan on going live, and like we have an event coming up in November that we plan on doing, that to show people a different side of other places, South Africa in particular. So
okay.
all
Do
of
you
that
want
is coming, and also the return of he used to do blog talk radio. So what we plan on doing is we plan on doing a BMO radio, but we're gonna go live on the YouTube channel, and then as soon as we get this channel up, we'll break off. We have plans to do a BMO live radio show every week, where we sit down and we talk about things, and share with some of our other members, because we have so many guys that are traveling and they share their experiences with us. Like we have a brother right now that's in Iceland, and he's sharing pictures and showing things that I never even thought about, going to Iceland, and really getting out there and traveling and exploring his options.
Okay. Okay. Now, do you want me to show that video promo for the South African?
Oh yes, most definitely.
Okay. So let me
Most
go ahead
definitely.
and show that to the peoples right there. Let's see, where's the South Africa? Shout out to Trevor Noah. Let me see if I can do the full screen there. All right, here we go. Okay. Oh, my bad.
You good? You good?
There's some very important information right there. Let's Since we can do that right there. So there was some information I definitely needed to. I think you guys need to see that out there. Sorry for that, y'all, because I'm like operating all these windows opening here. But here you go. This is okay. So I had to make sure I get it complete. All right. So could you break down what we were looking at?
Oh man. Well, that was our first inroads into to Africa as a group, and we did a 2-city tour. We spent a couple of days in Johannesburg, and a couple of days in Cape Town. And for us to go there was very rewarding because it's outside the box. Because most people, a lot of people, they travel, and there's a Brazil, Colombia, DR, Thailand. Those are like the 4 popular destinations, and I get that. But for us, there's so many other countries to explore outside of the norm. Now, Charles, he loved Brazil, and we always say Brazil is going to be home. But for us, we have to be able to explore our options as well. And Johannesburg was it blew me away. It really changed my perception about a lot of the things that we were told about South Africa. And while we were there, we partake in learning the history. We when we go places, our main objective is to meet people, network there, connect with them, and build friendships and relationships with with whoever we meet. That's our main focus. Everybody has this thing about women, and we always say, "Yo, the women are going to be there," but when you have the opportunity to go someplace and look that you never been, go, because
Right.
you may not ever get the opportunity to go again.
Yeah.
That's just something that I preach, and for us to go there, Johannesburg, it really reminded me of an American city. It was very modern, and they had all the amenities that we had. I mean, they had a Popeyes chicken, so I mean, you can't get more American than that, you know.
Okay.
But they had a different vibe, and
Right.
and you see extreme wealth. You also see the poverty that goes along with it.
Mhm.
But at the same time, it's a very enlightening experience because these people look like you. You're someplace
Right.
where the majority, and they're very welcoming. They want to talk to you. They're just curious as to why you came there. And while we were there, I actually met a lot of Americans that were living in Joburg. So, but like I said, we took part in the apartheid museum, and we went to Soweto. We had a very in-depth tour with Lungi and his wife, and she cooks a she cooks a mean pot of a pop. Pop is
Okay.
African grits.
Oh wow.
That's the easiest
What's the
way
difference between that and American grits? What's the difference?
to be honest with you, it's thicker.
Okay.
It's thicker. That the way they cook it like it looks like mashed potatoes, but it's made out of corn. And it has that nice it doesn't have the texture to it, but it has the taste to it, especially if you find somebody that can cook it right. So,
African grits. That's the first time I heard something like that.
Yep. African grits. Hey, we black all over, so
Right. Like in Brazil, it's beans and rice all over the place in Brazil.
yeah. And over there is pop. So,
Pot.
And we toured Soweto and Lungi, he was very knowledgeable because he was there when a lot of things that were going on during apartheid. He was showing us and sharing stories about what was really going on with the massacre of some children there during the apartheid. And we went to Mandela's house, which I didn't know Desmond Tutu and Mandela's house were across the street from each other. That was interesting.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah. I didn't know that either. But right there in Soweto, Desmond Tutu's house is literally like 50 feet from the house that Nelson Mandela grew up in. And, we went to Constitution Hill, which a lot of things that you see there, they don't teach you about, as far as you got rations based on the color of your skin.
Right.
So if you were black, you got the least to eat. If you were colored, you got a little bit more. And if you were white, you got more to eat.
Wow.
Go ahead.
So the mixed, so you mean like your mixed race got like less severity than the supposedly pure African?
No, the pure African got less than the mixed.
Okay.
That was their way of psychologically buffering the classes. And when you see it, it's hard to fathom, like based on the color of your skin, because I had a conversation with some of the people there, and they were trying to understand why we consider ourselves black. And I told them, I said, because your definition of color doesn't define us. I was like, your definition of color is somebody that's light skinned. I was like, but for us, light skin and dark skin can still come from the same parent.
Right.
So we're all colored to you, but we don't look at it like that. But to them, they've been socialized to think that way. And to be honest with you, it's still that way in certain areas to this day. Over there. Yeah.
But I ain't gonna lie, like, Cape Town, go ahead.
Yeah, Cape Town, they still have separate townships.
Dang.
They have the colored section and they have the black section.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
Right, because I remember some places in Louisiana. I was doing a what do you call it? A reunion, a high school reunion booklet, and she was saying that there was a dark skin high school and a light skin or mixed high school in Louisiana. And this was back in, I guess I'm going by the 50s and 60s. She's like in her early 70s, so this had to be around there. And I'm sitting there like, this is in America? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, it's not just India and everywhere. And then you just mentioned even South Africa.
Well, yeah. The funny thing is, when you go to the countries and you go to their museums and you get their interpretation of history, a lot of the American influence was helped create apartheid.
I heard about that.
Yeah, and Nelson Mandela was on the FBI's uh, top 30 list until Obama removed him. So,
Jeez.
so take that into account. You're talking about the president of a country is still on the FBI's top 30 terrorist list.
After his own country got him
Yes,
out and got him president.
yes. So it gives you some pause, but it all boils down to that they wanted the gold and the diamonds, and what they did was they just pitted people against each other so that they could come in and take advantage of it. And to this day, they still do. I had a conversation with a young lady there, and I was explaining to her. I showed her a graph saying the top 10 richest people in Africa. I said 4 of them are coming out of South Africa. I said none of them are black. I said, but you're the majority in this country. I said, so what's wrong with that?
Yeah. Yeah, people I don't know if they turn a blind eye to ignorance or they just don't care. I don't know.
I think that there is there's a consensus that they think that things are going to change, but having conversations with them and us as Americans, we always bring up Julius Manila, and it's like he's the boogeyman. Don't say that word. Don't bring him up. I'm like, why is that? Like, why do you guys like him? It's like, because he embodies what we are as Americans. He's pushing back.
So he's saying the things that they wish they could say in public, but he's the one that's
some
saying
of them, yes. And the funny thing is that the young men are the ones that say, yes, we need to talk about it. And the women were like, no, let's not talk about it. So it's like,
wow.
They're scared, but at the same time, the resources are being extracted and you're not benefiting from it.
And they're the majority.
And you're the majority.
Man. And I remember, dude, just on the side note, because I had a friend that I went to college with, and he had that Mario Van Peebles look. So you can imagine how his relatives looked. They were mixed.
Right.
Brother, it was so many of them. When it came, I said, "What?" Because I thought it was like maybe a few. It was a lot when he was showing me. Even put it this way, he showed pictures, and a lot of them came out here, and my jaw, and it had the accent too.
Oh man!
So give me that. Can you give us some stories, man? A little bit on some of the way that some of the women are over there.
Well, now, so this is the funny thing. It's like they're naturally thick, and when I mean thick, I mean PHAT, not FATT.
Right. No Lizzos. Okay.
No. I mean, but they. It's like they have the natural genetics. They just don't really work out. Gym culture is not a big thing for them, but you're talking about seeing big hips, no stomach, just naturally. Now, don't get me wrong. They eat good over there. I'm telling you, there was a KFC on every corner. I told you they had a Popeyes and plenty of chicken places. So
right,
plenty of black folks there that was eating chicken. And that pop is like I told you, them grits.
Yeah,
they eat it with everything. So, but as far as what you see, because South Africa, Johannesburg is such a big melting pot that you get people from all over Africa. They actually call South Africa the United States of Africa because you get such a diverse group of people. Most of the Uber drivers are from Zimbabwe, and they always say they're from Zim. They never say Zimbabwe. And
is there a reason for that?
Theory. Yeah, we tested that theory. Every time we got into an Uber, I said, "Are you from Zim?" "Yes, I'm from Zim." "How'd you know?" It's like, oh.
Is there a resentment of Zimbabwe or?
No. It's just, I don't know if it's a cultural thing, but it was just most of our Uber drivers were from Zim. So it was just a coincidence. I mean, we had, on a couple of our excursions, we had a personal driver for us because we were going to certain places, like when we did the safari and whatnot. But just to get around town and go to the mall or go to to a certain area and just kind of explore, and we get a Uber. They'd always ask, like, where are you from? And like, I'm from Zim, because they always want to know where we're from because they hear us speaking, and then they want to talk about America and all this other stuff, and they want to ask the questions, and we give them the real deal, and they look dumbfounded like, what? I thought America was like, no, brother, don't drink that Kool-Aid. Don't drink that Kool-Aid.
So they're English speakers there in South Africa.
Yes, they speak English, and then you have like I think 11 different languages amongst the tribes there, which is very interesting because they're very prideful in their heritage. And if you're Zulu, then they're gonna let you know they're Zulu. If they're Xhosa, they're gonna let you know they're Xhosa. So that's very interesting because like I told the one lady I was talking to, I was like, we don't have that to identify with. I said, that's one of the things that I think that has kept Africa together is the fact that you have that cultural attachment that you can go back and always fall back on, and we just don't. And anything that we created here in the States, me personally, I just think it's been destroyed.
And shout out to the brother from down under. Appreciate your support.
Thank you, Jesus.
And yeah, man. So what about okay, so I'm just going to assume that people always think that, okay, there's always some kind of violence, or you're going to get your wallet taken, or somebody's going to steal your luggage or whatever. Did you guys have any kind of brush of that at all?
Man, no.
Okay.
No. Now, I mean, when people come up with that argument, it's like, yo, you can get your wallet taken right here in the States. People that travel, veterans, I'm not talking about these guys that see a couple of things on YouTube and get a passport and jump on a plane. There's levels to it. You need to learn how to move. But for the most part, when you travel, don't put yourself in a position where you're going to have some type of encounter. We stayed in a upscale area of Johannesburg, but even when we went and did the tours and frequent some of the places that everybody normally would frequent, we never really felt any danger. We never felt like we were in any situation that might escalate into something that would be harmful for us and the guys that were on the network group with us. We just don't move like that. And to be honest, every place that we went, we were welcomed. I mean, we went to a spot in Soweto where Soweto is where they moved all the blacks. Lungi, he makes the joke that Soweto, the way they came up with the name for the town was, so where do we go? So that's where Soweto came from.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Now, culture-wise, okay, because I have to. I mean, hopefully you'll come back because I love to have brothers come back and kill myths. So culture-wise, what's the takeaway? Like when you go there, and you got everything out of your system that people talk about. Okay, everything is out there. So what are you gravitating to? Are you gravitating to the music, the food, history?
I mean, what? And I don't know if dudes, some of the other travel guys, if they're really in tune with that. But it's like when you go to certain places and you have that vibe, it's like you connect with certain things. And if you're very mindful, which when we travel, I'm definitely that way. I know my man Ralphie, the GM, and a couple other dudes, when we travel, we're very mindful of our surroundings and whatnot. And the vibe there is so much different than being in the States. But it feels like you're in the States, but you're not there. The vibe is just, it's different. The music, the crazy thing about the music is, like being in Brazil, you have the samba, whatnot, and it has a different rhythm to it. It takes a while to get acclimated to it. But in Africa, you go to the club and the music, the BPMs and the vibe, you don't even know what necessarily they're saying, but you can feel the energy. So it's like you don't miss a beat. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we heard, and that's the other thing. They play so much more of our music, old school music, here than we play in the States. I
That's
mean,
big.
we went out to several spots, and I heard Tevin Campbell, New Edition, Luther Vandross, and they singing. They know the words. They get up and they just go at it.
So tell me this, man. Since you said that, and please hit that like button, share, and subscribe. We back in the 40s again. That means people are coming in. Appreciate y'all. Now, by you saying that, do you think there's some kind of rejection of what's today's Black American culture is offering right now? They want to go back to the quote unquote good old days of Black music and Black expression. Is that happening over there?
I think that for them, it's part of their culture.
Whoa,
Because
that's deep.
yeah, it's part of their culture, and they're not the only place because I've experienced that too in Brazil. I had a lady friend in Brazil, and we were just sitting around, and my Portuguese was not that good. I'm still learning, but we were sitting around talking, and Alexander O'Neal came on, and
Wow.
so I'm singing Alexander O'Neal's part, and she knew the words.
What?
She knew the words.
The
I mean,
80s, huh?
she's singing this Sherelle part, and I'm looking at her, I'm like, and she's like 25. I'm
What?
like, wait a minute. How do you know about Alex O'Neal? What do you know about Saturday Love? And she's like, I listen to all the time. They
Wow.
and I've been in Airbnbs and heard people playing James Brown. I've heard people playing Luther. And when we go to the clubs, they play a lot of old stuff. Yeah, they play a lot of the new stuff too, but they play a lot of the old stuff that we haven't played. And I'm talking about 80s stuff, New Edition,
Hmm.
Can You Stand the Rain, and a lot of 90s hip hop and whatnot. So to me, it's part of their culture. It's here that we've abandoned that for this trash.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm looking, because I mean, you got these. I think I'm quite sure you hear some of these non-African American and African American kind of like back and forths, and I call them little beefs.
Mm.
I'm just looking at, like, I think the ones that are kind of young, that's from here, the fact that they threw away all this great stuff that you just mentioned, right? Like Sherelle and Alexander O'Neal, Luther, all these things. Because you talk to the average young person, they're like, Alexander who? Hell, half of them don't even know what Michael looked like before the surgery,
Exactly.
right? But yet, these people overseas and all these other countries, they still held them as gods.
Man,
So could you imagine how you think about it? How would you feel about a people that threw away all of your gems and settle for something that is way lesser than what your value is? I'm
I,
not I'm not I'm not I'm not justifying the whole beast or whatever, but I'm thinking that might be a part of it. What you think?
I definitely agree with you on that because they're still passionate about certain things in their culture that we aren't. And
Right.
music is very influential,
Hmm.
and we've lost that. The funny thing about the music that they listen to is like you can go on YouTube here and you see these young dudes or young people do a reaction to these songs, and they're looking at them. They're like, "How come I haven't heard this before?" I'm like,
Right.
because you don't have that parental guidance where they passed it on to you,
Isn't that
and
part of
it's
the Matrix?
unfortunate. Yeah, yeah, and I think that's on par for the Matrix too. You don't hear
Hmm.
that type of music. You know, when we were growing up, I was just talking about this with my coworker. I said we were exposed to different genres. I said that's why I can listen to Huey Lewis and the News and Simply Red and even Van Halen. I say because at a young age we were exposed to different types of music. You might have
Hmm.
gravitated towards one, but you still knew those songs.
Yeah.
Nowadays, they play the same 20, 30 songs trash, and the good stuff they don't play. I'm like, you can't even name an artist a R&B artist or band that's popular. Whereas in the 80s and the 90s, man, they were everywhere. And I'm talking about Jerry Curl Troop to the Time,
Yeah.
you know, just the it was so many talented groups. There was so much good music that was put out that we were spoiled, and now it's just barren. But when
Like
you
I'm
go
gonna
to
give you. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
when you go to these other countries, man, they're playing the stuff. I'm like, damn, like how are y'all playing this and we not?
I'm gonna bust your bubble. You gonna be like, damn. Remember that song I had playing when I was waiting for everybody to come in and everything? We didn't come up yet.
Mm-hmm.
That's my brother-in-law from Brazil.
What?
That's his band. That's a
Wow.
Brazilian band.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? So it's backing up everything you're saying.
Wow.
You know,
And I'm
he's like early 40s too.
yeah. And you can definitely tell that a lot of their music is still their music, but it has an American influence. So regardless of what you may think, we definitely are influential throughout the world, the African diaspora. Whether you want
So
to believe it or not, they still emulate a lot of the things that we do. Some good, some bad.
so in other words, so you're explaining that we're not totally strangers when we travel these countries.
We're not. We're not. And black men, American black men, you have a leg up because it's like I'm able to see black Americans on TV, but to interact with one, it's not necessarily that you're a celebrity, but to them, it's like, okay, I actually have met an American in person. And they just the energy that you get from them is like, okay, I'm just a regular person. We're just here to look, see, patronize your business and just kind of show support. And they're just like, they just want to pull up, talk to you, take pictures with you, and like, okay, I feel like a superstar. I mean, and it's not to sound narcissistic or anything like that, but it happens all the time. I mean, it's
Right.
happened in Brazil, and it happened in South Africa, and and in Thailand. Even in Thailand, back in 2019, we did a trip there, and we were standing outside the Muay Thai stadium, and we took a group picture, and there was a group of Chinese tourists that wanted to take pictures with us. And, once we gave them the okay, they bum rushed us. They took pictures with us from the time we gave that group picture all the way up to the point where we were sitting down.
And you know what's crazy about that? The fact that you guys are able to be there for that, I'm quite sure it broke that stereotype that we're dangerous and we dump on people. They were like, wow, these are real people.
Right. Like I said, it's one thing to see us on TV. It's another to interact with us. That's why I said last night, I was like, when you step out of the country, our mindset is you're an ambassador because people are watching. And we want to put our best foot forward, because by us doing that, it changes the negative perceptions that they try to put out on us.
Yeah.
But one thing I will say that is beneficial for us is that once they find out that you're an African American, their tone changes real quick.
Yeah, that man, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
whew, a brother, because
Like,
I said last night, I go and teach art out there, and there's a lot of Africans over there in Brazil.
Yes.
Right, a lot of them,
Yes.
especially Angola, a lot of them in Angola, and it's a trip because when they find out I'm from America, from California, they say my name, they say from California, that kind of thing. Because I'm known as Professor. Professor. I'm sorry,
I was gonna say,
Professor.
Professor, you sure?
Yeah, I don't have any boobs or nothing. But
Yeah,
yeah, but the fact that they're looking at a black American, male professor doing demonstrations like this and speaking in Portuguese, they're in awe. They're in awe, man. And that's the thing, like the stuff that I'm not really appreciated for here, they appreciate you over there.
and that's the whole thing that we're talking about. It's like, yo, when you travel outside the country, you start to see that you're valued. Here, they don't see you valued. They think that you're only good for an ATM and a phallus. It's like, yo, that's it. But when you step outside the country, it's a totally different perception of us. And you know, the funny thing is, we had an event that we were doing, another event, and we were at a club down in Bar de Juca. And it was funny because when we first came in, we were all hanging around and waiting for the club to get started and whatnot. And the women were kind of standoffish, and we was like, okay, you know, we all got cologned up, we smell good, look good, is the problem. So as the night went on, we had a incident where some Bitcoin millionaire came in and bought us bottles and for my American friends, and we partied together. And then everybody started coming over, and the girl said, "We thought you were Africans." And I was like, well, "Why would you think we were Africans?" It's like, and if so, why would you treat us that way? She's like, "Because we have a lot of Africans that try to pretend that they're African Americans." I was like, so why would they pretend to be African Americans? I was like, I don't know, but they want to be African Americans and not Africans. But they don't have the same energy. And to me, a light bulb went off because I've heard that before. I've heard that in Thailand too. And the woman said, no, we know the difference. He's like, they try to tell us that they're Americans, but like, well, we know they just have a different energy. So it's funny because they want to be us in another country and pass themselves off to be us. I'm like, just be African, but I just don't know. I don't know what motivation that is, but it's definitely American black man has a lot of options outside the country. And in Brazil, it's very appreciative because we've gone places. My friend and I, we went to Belo Horizonte, and that's the craziest part. We went to Belo Horizonte in 2020, and there's an upscale mall up there called BH Express, and it sits like at the top of the mountain. And we're walking through the mall. You know, we go to the shoe store, and they hear us speaking, and the guy was like, "Yo, can I take a picture with you?" and whatnot. And they're like, "Okay." We took a picture, like no big deal. Then we walking throughout the mall, and a group of guys heard us speaking English, and they just walked up to us, and they just started talking, and everybody is seeing like these two black guys are walking around the mall, and everybody keeps running up to them, talking to them, and taking pictures with them. Like, they must be famous. And I'm like, we're nobody. And the first thing that comes out of their mouth is like, "Why are you guys up here in Belo? Like, why are you coming up here to visit our city?" I was like, "Because we want to see something different. We're exploring."
Right.
And, you know, it's just all love. It was all love. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, and they're waiting for us, but they just don't know how. Because I had I don't know if you saw the video I sent you, but at that second half, she was saying that since there's a lot of black folks there, and I guess in Brazil that don't know how to speak English, they're a little bit embarrassed, to approach you. So it's always good to have that, either an event that's already there, or even know the language, so at least you can initiate things of that nature. And I think a lot of people are waiting for us to visit them.
They are. They are. And they're very welcoming too. I mean, I'm not going to sit up here and sell people a false dream. Of course, there's always going to be people that have a negative opinion of us, but sometimes that's because us coming in disrupts what they're trying to run on their people. We have a driver that we use when we go to Brazil, and he brought his son with him, and he said he brought his son with him to pick us up, to show him that there are people that look like you that are able to be prosperous and travel, and don't let what they preach to you in Brazil stop you from being able to achieve your goals and your dreams, because these black men are doing it and they look just like you. So it's very inspirational for his son to see us traveling, and not just traveling one or two, traveling in groups of 15 to 25 or more.
Right.
You know, that's very powerful. It's one thing when you travel and it's 2 or 3 of you, 4 or 5 of your buddies. But when you walk through the mall or when you walk through the airport or an event and it's 20 plus Americans pulling up, you're going to get noticed.
Okay. So let's address some of the I don't know if you say myths or criticisms or people's perceptions of black men traveling and things of that nature. One is let's just go right to it. What is the issue that you think guys have with other guys traveling, just to, for the sake of argument, just to meet women, attractive women?
I don't think that's a one answer type of question, because different people have different agendas. So I just break it down in what I think it is for the PUA guys. I think it's a shift in what they're selling, and people aren't buying. I think that
It's hurting their business.
I think it's a business move, because one of the other brothers that does content, Brazil Yas, I think that's what it is. He did a short video that showed a PUA giving passport bros big ups, and then a year later, he's talking junk about you. So wait a minute, which one is it? A year before you praising us, and now this year, because it's hot to diss us, now you want to jump on the bandwagon. So for them, I think it's more they don't have any real content. They don't have any real ways to combat what's being challenged by them. Okay. Now, as far as some of the other guys, I think some of it is just hate, because they've been programmed to accept subpar women, and they can't change their programming because a lot of them have been raised by their mothers, and they're loyal to the gynocracy. They can't get off the plantation, and it's like, yo, you got to stay too. No, I don't have to. I'm leaving. No, you can't stay. You got to stay here, and because I got to stay here. No, I don't. No, thank you. And I think the vitriol comes from they've been told that they have to stay and they don't want you to go. And they express it in so many ways, because I don't understand. Why would you be upset about what another man does with his followers? If he's traveling overseas and he's getting what he wants, like Edward always likes to say, yo, I'm shopping in another store. I don't see what I want in this store. I'm going to go to another store and shop. What's the problem? The problem is that you shop in another store and you getting a better deal. And other brothers are sharing that. Like, man, don't go over here and shop in the dollar store and pay overpriced for that crap. Come over here and, you got to spend a little bit extra money, but it's damn worth it. So and black men are traveling, and you got some people that know that once these men start leaving, the black community in America is pretty much over.
Okay, so people out there, please hit that like button, share, subscribe, and start getting your questions ready, because we're going to be doing the Q&A in a bit. Now there's a Frustrated coming out, correct?
Frustrated 3, baby.
And I'm gonna go ahead and share that real quickly, and then we'll talk about it a little bit. Let's see. And I believe, let me see, here we go. Is this the one here? Okay. Yeah, that looks like the one. All right.
When you date a woman and she may be a potential wife, it's a competition thing all the way. I can't take it no more.
They feel propped up because they feel more beholden to the government. And then their man comes second. That's why they figure that they're strong, independent, don't need no man, because they have the government.
Because the men are failing us, to be honest. Guys thinking about themselves, and they'll think about you after you react.
You don't hear anything about being good wives and all the other stuff. What you hear is you strong and you independent, you can do it on your own. You got Black Girl Magic, Black Girl Rock, but you ain't said nothing about Black Family.
My mother is like what they consider to be the strong Black woman. I feel like I projected that onto the guys that I dated.
Ladies have no idea how stiff their competition really is. You have no clue how Black men are viewed in the rest of the world. We are the #1 most sexually desired man on the face of this planet.
They would call Jesus Dusty if he was here living in America because of the gross narcissism that a lot of our women have.
All right.
Man,
So-
that heat.
So set us up with what we just saw. I mean, without doing too many spoilers, what do you expect? I mean, what do we expect to see? I'm quite sure it's not going to be a repeat of the other two, but what are we expected to see?
Well, I think Frustrated 3, I think, is more updated to what's going on currently. You know, when Grease did Frustrated 1, he was a trailblazer. You know, he took it upon himself to challenge the Essence article, which we all know propaganda to keep Black men on the plantation. And he was able to go out there and expose the hypocrisy of that article.
Right.
And in doing so, he started a movement because most Black men weren't traveling like that. Now, myself personally, you know, I've been traveling since I was 18. I was in the military and I got exposed to different cultures at a young age. But most brothers didn't have Brazil on their radar. And he brought light to that. So, and even to this day, dudes walk up to Grease and just thank him for making Frustrated. So, you know, Frustrated 2 is another problem, paternity fraud, and how it's decimated certain aspects of our community. Once again, trailblazer in that. But in Frustrated 3, the timing of Frustrated 3 and him revisiting what's really going on, because you got to think about it, the so-called gender war or the conversations about Black relationships, they weren't in full swing then. Like Frustrated was one of the catalysts that started to fuel this conversation. Frustrated 3, we all know what's going on. I mean, it's out in the open. And it's like, okay, this is a nail in the coffin because you have a series of events, L's, that the narrative that they pushed about Black men for so many years is getting destroyed. And, you know, with Kevin Samuels passing and the blatant disrespect of his passing on display, only thing you're doing is just validating a lot of the things that have been said in Frustrated 3. And now brothers are speaking out. They don't care. Frustrated 3 is gonna cause a lot of problems. Matter of fact, when I was talking to Grease, he said he showed it to his brother, and he asked him, did he have a life insurance policy? He said, because somebody gonna put a hit out on him.
Man.
Yeah. Because it's fire.
And I noticed. Oh, go ahead, brother.
No, go ahead.
I noticed though that somebody mentioned families in the trailer. So are they going to go in like that as far as possibilities of, you know, having that kind of access, you know, as far as someone being ready, you know, to at least, you know, have the whole traditional family structure once you go ahead and make that move?
Well, that was my segment. And, you know, we were talking about that. And what I tell people is that more Black men want to be husbands than more American Black women that want to be wives.
Could you repeat that again, please?
I said more Black men want to be husbands than more Black American women want to be wives.
Wow.
Because most dudes that I talk to, they're looking for one woman to settle down with. That's really what they're looking for.
So we ain't trying to be players or nothing and make it rain everywhere we go, right? Okay, no. I'm just checking.
We've had, and like I said, I'm proud to share this. You know, we've had in the last 7 months, we've had 3 marriages, 2 engagements, and 1 baby on the way, and 1 baby born July 2nd. And all these men are either married to or engaged to Brazilian women that they met on one of our group events.
Wow.
So when I say that black men want to be family men, I know I'm not just talking out my mouth sideways. But see, what's shown is men going overseas and enjoying themselves with women. That's cool. But when you sit down and really talk to brothers, most brothers want to be traditional. They want a woman to be a wife, and they want to have a family. That's a structure that they want.
And let me give a shout out to Oliver the Gray for the super chat. Appreciate you, fam.
Thank you, Jesus.
Dude, I don't know if you guys done this, but man, that would be interesting to have a speed date there. You know what that is, speed dating?
Yeah. Well, I mean, pretty much when you walk into the place, that's speed dating.
but the thing is, you still got to communicate though. But
well,
yeah,
you know
you at a table and then you switch people after a certain amount of time, and that would be interesting over there. I never, because over here it's kind of
yeah.
I
I think that would be very interesting. You just have to get a certain amount of people that spoke fluent Portuguese, and it would be fun to do it someplace outside of Rio. I think.
Yeah, I'll videotape that.
Yeah. I think that someplace like Salvador or Fortaleza, or someplace like that, or Recife, someplace like that. You have to get away from Rio, because I think
it'd be hard. Huh?
It's hard. Rio's tainted. Rio's tainted to a certain extent, but
it'd
be hard. It'd definitely be hard.
And I'm talking about like people that are, professionals, whether it's people from there and here, really make that match up. I'd be very curious how that would go.
Well, you know what? We've talked about it, and we had plans of having some type of coming out extravaganza in Brazil, but then the COVID stuff happened, and it kind of threw a monkey wrench in some of the plans. So but we want to have something like that, because when everybody seems to think that these women that are in these countries are poor and destitute, and they like one of these commercials where they just in the mud begging with their hands like a cup, and like, oh my God, come save me.
Right.
And I'm like, you are so far from the truth. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You have women that are business minded, they're entrepreneurs, but they still want to be a wife and still want to have that family, because their culture is paramount for them to be in that environment. They thrive in it. They know the value of it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas here, they don't.
Yeah. I mean, as soon as I retire, man, I'm over there.
Man, I tell you, you know what? I always said that, Salvador had a very unique feel for me. Mm-hmm. But this recent trip to Africa, man, Joe Berg giving it a run for his money.
Okay.
Giving it a run for his money. But that's what I'm saying, though. It's just where brothers, you have to figure out what works for you,
right,
and what's best for you, and know that there are options. I think that's really the biggest thing. You might have to do a little bit more, but it's worth it. Whether you want to be in Colombia, or if you want to be in Brazil, you want to be in Thailand, you want to be in South Africa, or wherever you find that you fit, then do what you need to do whatever it takes, because the benefit for you is going to be so much more than being here in the Matrix depressed.
So so for those people out there listening that want to be able to be a part of you guys' packages and trips, so what do? They go on a website, or do they?
The best way to get in contact with us is to either hit us up on an email on the YouTube channel, and or come and join the Facebook group. We're looking for like-minded brothers, and we'd love to have you over there. Like I said, we are at the crest of busting 20,000. But I'm just gonna be honest with you. We don't take everybody. You'd be surprised the amount of people that can't follow simple instructions
right
to get in. And that has eliminated a lot of the headache in some of these Facebook groups that we don't have.
And okay, so once they get the contact, what have you, so what happens? They have to pay their own flight fee, or is there's something already like all together?
No,
I mean, how does
what
that
we
work?
do is for us, it's a teaching experience because some dudes are not veterans. So you have to get your flight and your accommodations. But what we do is we have a separate communication channel. We have a WhatsApp group that we use to communicate this stuff with. We have Zoom calls. Once you've locked in your position, we have Zoom calls so that everybody's on the same page. And we take your information. We want to know when your arrival date is. We want to make sure that you get travel insurance, which is a big thing that most people don't talk about. Travel insurance is paramount. When Charles passed away, he didn't have travel insurance, and we had to pull money together to get his body shipped back to the States. So we stress that. And then, we have Zoom meetings to guide you, make sure that you got a point of contact just in case if something happens to you. We have your family's information to get in contact with you, because if you get hurt outside of the country, that's a scary feeling if you by yourself. But if you with us, we're going to make sure that you're okay. We're not going to just leave you there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So like I said, we take care of each other. We're all together. This is not just a solo thing. But once you join the group and you can go in on the events, you can contact us there, reach out to us, and then we can make arrangements. And then you can, and then we just go from there. And it's such a refreshing feeling to see new people come, and we're able to share and expose them to something new. It really is. Dr. Neal, or Dr. Ronald Neal, he came last year.
Yeah, he put that out on his videos.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dr. Neal, man. I'm like, you teach at Wake Forest? I'm like, man. I was like, okay. What
he
class
turned
are
into
you?
the dirty deacon. I was like, all right, Doc.
Man, yeah. We call him Brother Minister.
Okay.
I was like, yeah, Brother Minister. He be putting in that work, and just to see the excitement and joy in his face from being on one of our trips. And Kosher was on the trip, and a couple of other brothers that were on the trip for the first time. And brothers was just so like, yo, Brazil is like this. It's like, how come you didn't? How come nobody told me about it? I would have been moved here 10 years ago. I was like, because they didn't want you to know about it. They want you to stay where you at in the matrix.
Yeah. So for people that are still wondering, okay, so like, what do your events look like? Do you have like, dinners?
We have dinners. We start off with the welcome dinner, and because we want everybody to get accommodated with each other, and because sometimes it's new people and some people don't know each other. Other times it's veterans that have been on multiple trips with us, but we still go around. We have a dinner, and then we try to show you different aspects of the nightlife. And then, like I said, we have an itinerary where we show you something different. It's not just you just there and we're just hanging out. In Brazil, we try to take you to places that normal tourists wouldn't go to, like Casa Black up there in Madureira. We went last year, and a lot of people don't know this, that Charles and Rodrigo were very good friends. And that's what I was talking about as far as developing the relationships. Charles and Rodrigo were good friends for a long time. And, once we did our event last year, we were able to repair the relationship from the previous administration. And, us giving him that exposure, he's just like, wow, man, it's so many American dudes coming up there now. He said, why did it start? I was like, because we gave you that exposure. They see that we came up there and they follow right behind us. And then, but most people would never even think about journeying to Madureira to see how Black people in Brazil are partying or just to be in that atmosphere. And then, you know, we have events where we may do a tour if we're in favela tour in Brazil. For us, it was more of the history. We want to show you different parts of South Africa, Johannesburg. We did the safari, which was crazy. The only thing that we didn't see was a lion, but we saw everything else. And you know, when you see a hippo in person in the wild, and the driver was like, he said, "There's 5 animals that I'm scared of," and he said a hippo is probably in the top. He said probably in the top 2.
Why so?
I don't know. He just said, he said that they have the top 5 predators. He said hippos. He said hippos is probably number 2. And I was kind of taken back by that, because I would think that the lion and the elephant would be number, you know, 1, 2, and 3. But he said the hippos are vicious. He said they are very aggressive, and they can run on land faster than you think.
Okay.
So he said he's very mindful of that. But, you know, and then we show you different aspects of the city. You know, a lot of people, when we went into Brazil, they didn't know about all the amenities in Barra da Tijuca. They thinking that it's all favelas, you know. And I tell them, I was like, yo, they got Benzes down there too. And in South Africa, you know, we seen a Bugatti on the road. So when you're talking about making a compare and contrast in the States, I'm like, don't get it twisted. And in the process of what we do, it opens your eyes to, like, these people aren't, or this area isn't like what you think it is. So maybe I could actually have a life here. You get the wheels turning. And then, you know, we try some trips, we stay in one area, other trips we'll go to other areas. Like I said, we went from Johannesburg to Cape Town, and it's the same thing. We want to expose you to something different outside of just the regular tourist stuff. We want you to see how the locals live. Like, we went to a nightclub in Cape Town, and this was in the black part of town. And when I tell you it's in the black part of town, when you're driving through the neighborhood, it's very evident that you don't need to be out here by yourself. But when we pulled up to the spot, we came in, there wasn't any problems, and the owner came in, and the VJ came in, and he found out we were Black American, and the owner came up, started talking to us, wanted to take pictures with us, and he asked us why we came down there. And it's like, yo, we came down here to patronize your spot. And he was like, well, how did you figure it out? It's like, because we got a hell of a general manager that does his research and plans our trips. And that's really what we offer. And he was like, you know, I've never really had any Americans come down here. So when we structure our trips, we want to take you places off the beaten path. Yeah, we're going to take you to some places that you're going to go to, but there's going to be some places that you would never have that experience to go, especially if you don't speak the language. That language barrier is going to be a big thing. Or doing the research is the other thing. Some people just show up and think that you can just show up and boom, here I am. And that's that American traveler entitlement. Like, no, dude, that's just not how we roll. And most dudes, they understand that concept. And I've never had anybody really say anything negative about any of the events that we put on. Plus, we always promote it as a networking event, because after the event is over, we still have a WhatsApp group that we keep in contact with. We have a group chat, and then we have an investment group chat where we're still talking to each other. And then guys that are on the trip, they still talk to each other. And these are guys that they've never met before. They met them on our trip. And now that's who they talk to the most. So there's more to it than just coming on the trip and seeing something. The whole thing for us is you get the fellowship of being exposed to Black men from different backgrounds, and you're expanding your network to where now, hey, look, man, I need, I got a buddy of mine, he work at the IRS. Hey man, can I how do I do this? I do that. I can just call him on the phone. Or I got a buddy of mine that's that's a doctor in LA. Hey man, I'm having this problem. What do you think I should do? Oh, well, do this and do that. You know, and there's no hate, there's no hesitation to help one another, because that's how we met each other, helping each other.
Right.
And I think that's the benefit for us.
Right. Are you willing to entertain some questions?
Sure.
Let me put the link in the chat here. Now, just to remind people, I got my trigger button just for you trolls. So,
oh man, hey, look. I'm in frustrated 3. I'm not even worried about the smoke. The trolls say what they want to say. We didn't heard it all.
Yeah, because if they want to come up, because I try to eliminate some of that here, because this stuff that I try to leave behind is some, it's all learning.
Yes.
So I don't want people to keep thinking that we got to wear a clown wig every time we discuss things about us.
Right.
We've had fun every now and then, but not expensive who we are as black men. I try to get that kind of delivery out there.
Right.
But it's very important, man, that we have these discussions on a normal basis. Because sometimes, what the thing is, I think sometimes when people are not interacting with the people, it leaves room for other people to make things up and spin it.
Right. Well, you're always going to have that segment of haters. That's just no matter what you do, whether you're doing something good or something bad. There's always going to be that segment, and you just have to deal with it.
Yeah. And, for the people that are coming up, please try to stick with the topic. Because some people come in, oh my God, I hurt my finger, I broke my nail. I'm like, dude, what about what the brother was talking about?
Right, right.
Stick with the topic, so we can, really get to, keep it in sequence here. And man, go ahead,
because
brother.
You know what? The funny thing is, I do a lot of talking to the guys in the group, and they reach out to me. They see that I'm an admin, and I tell them, I'm like, yo, we have, in our group, we have not just the sharing of information and networking, but we also have mentorship. We have guys that have volunteered to mentor them. All you have to do is just reach out to them, and that's a wonderful resource to have. Like, yo, you got guys that are willing to share information with you. Some of these people, the information they're sharing, people are paying for it, and they're doing this out of the goodness of their heart, their time, their dime as a black man. And that's why I said, when Charles put the group together, he always wanted black men to help one another, network together, and to build an expat community outside of the matrix, because he knew that was essential for us to be able to have what we want.
Yeah, he told me about the CPF card. That came in handy. Mm-hmm. I said, wow.
Yeah, for little stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to get you a SIM card? Oh, you can't have the CPF.
Yeah, they got to actually just show that,
Yep.
That's just a matter of fact. I think, and me personally, I think I got more with that than my actual passport over there.
Yeah, because they know you're serious. See, that's what I'm saying. If you are showing effort, they're willing to help you. But if you're just there to enjoy yourself, that's cool too. But don't expect to get a certain level of treatment if you haven't invested anything in them too.
Right.
But if you invest in them, they're going to reciprocate that. Because I have a buddy of mine that's been dating a young lady there for going on 4 years, and when he flies in to see her, the whole family picks him up.
Man,
not just her, the whole family picks him up.
And I feel bad because every time I see Al, I ask him what's going on, and I know he's expecting me to go, and I'm like, dude, my wife is out here, her family. If you marry into a Brazilian family, for like an average one, everybody's related to each other damn near.
Yes.
And if you the African American, what do you call it, the Americano, Africano, whatever.
Yes.
Everybody know you.
Oh yeah.
Matter of fact, I was talking to another professor over there, and we were just talking, and one of her cousins was in line next to us, and I'm like, oh shit, what's she gonna say?
Yeah, because they're very catty. They're very territorial. Trust me.
Listen, and she was looking too, and I would pretend like I didn't see her. She didn't say nothing. But I guess I'm assuming that was years ago, so I'm assuming everything is okay.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
imagine going to one of those events, just hanging around. I would have been toast.
Man. And I'm telling you, they definitely if they like you, they're gonna let you know. And if they don't like you, they're gonna let you know that too. But they're respectful about it, and that's all you can ask for, But
Oh man.
let's see what did it say. What did the preferred travel insurance provider? So what we normally recommend is Geo Blue Travel. That has been the staple, definitely for me, for the last 4 years. And what I normally do is I just get a year policy. I don't get it for just a particular trip. I get it for a year because I know if I go out of the country at least 2 times out of the year, then it pays for itself. Plus, I've structured my trips to be a business expense, so I write that off.
So traveling experience, for those people to understand, so traveling experience is mainly that can go in any. It is. You don't have to. Travel insurance. You don't have to order travel insurance every time you go. It covers like all of your trips.
Yes. You can have travel insurance. You can buy a year policy, and a lot of those trips are also they cover a lot. Like we've had an incident where brother, he had some problems and he was able to get some treatment in South Africa, and it came in handy. He was able to go straight to the hospital. Geo Blue took care of everything, best doctors and all the other stuff, man. I mean, A1. Now, the crazy part is, and I haven't figured it out, is that some states you can't get Geo Blue. They'll give you an alternative. I think it starts with an A, Alliant or Alliance. And I think that I know New York, I think is one of those states. Delaware may be another one. That Geo Blue, you just can't get that travel insurance. I don't know why, but just check and make sure. But if you fill it out, they'll let you know. Yeah, Geo Blue Travel.
Okay. Someone said Geo Blue. He had a question at the end.
Okay.
You can Google it. Let me see. Should I Google it?
Let me try. Let me see.
Yeah. So he'll look it up. And again, I put the link in the chat, you guys, if y'all want to come up and throw some questions in. We got a few minutes left. And then after that, we're going to shut it down.
Yeah, I don't bite.
I think they want to, because I hope I probably answered all the questions they wanted me to. I probably asked all the questions they wanted me to ask.
No, there's probably a couple other questions they want to ask. They just don't want to ask them in front of everybody else. So,
okay.
There you go. Alliance Insurance. Yeah, that's it, Ray. But the elephant in the room. The big topic is the tricking. A lot of people.
Tricking.
Yeah, the tricking. That's one of the attacks. Oh, you just tricking. You over there tricking for women and stuff and whatnot. I tell dudes, I say that's just false as far as what you consider tricking, because first and foremost, you trying to police what another man does with his wallet and his other body parts, and what business is of yours. A lot of men travel because they just need to get out of the country. They want to be around something other than what they're in right now. And when you get exposed to that, that femininity that you're not used to in the States, it can be overwhelming. A lot of people, and this is just my personal approach to it, because I'm very into energy and how it affects you, and why guys have such an emotional response coming back to the States. Like, because when you leave here, you're dipped in a different energy, and it feels invigorating to you because you've never had that before. And when you're in the matrix, it really takes a toll on you. Charles did interviews where he said, yo, I feel relaxed, the food's better, which is true. I'm not as stressed, and I just feel so at ease here. And that's the environment that you're in. That energy for you is less stressful.
And Black Huru, that's one of our great elders here. He says, "So it's my money and my dingling, I guess. What
Exactly.
what the f right do you have to say about what I do with them?"
Exactly. And that's my thing. And you know what? The crazy part is, like I said, I was in the military, and I've been to Germany, and this is in the early 90s. And I tell folks all the time, I said, nobody talks about the red light district in Frankfurt or in the Netherlands. I said, nobody talks about those establishments that have been there for years. And they have an entire district dedicated to that. And also in Thailand, Soy 6 was actually started by, not Soy 6, Soy Cowboy was actually started by a black dude. That's, that's crazy.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah. Soy Cowboy in Bangkok, that street was started by a black American, and I think he was from Texas. So that's why they named the street Soy Cowboy. And, he wanted to open up clubs and whatnot, and he made that place famous. But
So
you're
it's
going to
like,
have that environment everywhere you go. So what? Who cares? If that man is happy, I'm happy for him, because black men in the United States have been subjugated to a lot of stressful, psychological, financial, and emotional damage. And if they need to go and do something to make them happy, then I say go be it. As long as you're not hurting anybody, you're not messing with any kids or none of them Decepticons, then hey, or if that's your flavor, hey,
they over there too.
they're over there too. But now, that's why I tell in Thailand.
Oh, with that facial hair, what is that 5 o'clock shadow?
Yeah, hey. Tell on themselves, but
Oh.
another thing too, when you travel, you really see who's messing with who. I'm not saying
Yes,
no
sir.
names,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
but they not melanated.
Yeah, they walking around with 2 of them, with both arms.
Definitely.
I'm like,
Yeah.
you take a double look, like, what?
Yeah. It ain't us. So when you try to throw, I say, if you travel, you really know who they looking for.
And then no shame.
No shame, man. They walk around, they taking them shopping and blah blah blah. And I'm like, damn, okay. Well, hey, whatever floats your ship.
And it's a trip, because if you get caught looking, they're like, oh shit, he looking. Let me look back at him. Like, hold on, I wasn't looking. Sorry.
Yeah. Heck no. You got what you want. You got that Viking persuasion. Stay that way.
Oh my God. Is it because I always joke with this, let me see, the garçons in different areas.
Yes.
And they be joking because they see that stuff, they see you looking, they're like, cool you die. They do a little figure like, cool you die.
Yeah, exactly. No.
Oh man, but hey, this, like I said, it's something for everybody there.
Yeah, it's something for everybody there, but I just don't get it. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, let me plug it in. My social media manager is asking me to plug our Instagram. Please follow us on the Instagram, the Black Man's Options.
Is there
it's the Black
link?
Man's Option.
We got lazy people here. Wish we had a link here, because we rather click instead of listen.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it.
Hold on, let me see. I know. He's usually on that stuff. I'm bad about running my mouth, and he usually keeps me in line with promoting. Because, like I said, we're trying to get to 1,000 by Labor Day. I don't know if we're gonna make it, but we're gonna damn sure try.
Yeah, please subscribe to Black Man's Options channel. That's what it comes up, right? Black Man Options, the Black Man's Options.
Yep.
Okay, and let me see, because I'm looking here.
Hold on for a second.
Instagram. Oh, you got it? Okay.
I'm about to, let's see. Let me drop the link right here. There we go. Yeah, like I say, man, we're getting up on speed, but like I said, we have I have to say that we have a group of extraordinary gentlemen on our committee. We have 12 brothers that we all work together. We meet monthly, just like a CEO meeting. We discuss strategies. and things that we're going to do. And I'm honest with you, uh, we wouldn't be where we are without them. So I want to commend all of them for sticking it out. And we do all this as free as our we do all of this free. Nobody here gets paid. We're volunteering our time because that's just how much we have love for Charles and what he did, and wanted to continue his legacy.
Okay. Let me see if we moved up here because last time you had 344 subscribers. And right now you got about, I'm waiting on it. It should be more than that. My bad.
Hey,
Okay.
we'll take what we can get, and I just have to be more vocal, start showing my face in the place, and doing things. And hopefully, we'll be able to start doing a live stream next week. I'm in the process of setting up my little home studio and getting everything ready.
Well, I got a Tuesday and a Friday. Like I do a normal program there. So if you got some announcements in the beginning, or if you want to jump in and throw a topic in there, in
Yeah, no
addition to what
problem.
I'm doing, just you're more than free to come on through. Pump up what you're doing. I mean, hell, if you guys out there just want to do a live while you're out there doing your thing and just share while we all live too, that's all well and good. This is what we're here for. You know,
Yeah,
um,
most definitely, and like I said, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate the invite, and I appreciate everybody coming in and just spending your Sunday night listening to me run my mouth.
no, I think it's well informative. Because I mean, my only element is probably partially Japan and Brazil. I can't speak on the other countries, but these are
Yeah,
things I can speak on.
you know what? It's funny because we have people that have traveled so much extensively, and guys that are there, they're in our group, and it's just we have these networks of people that are living in Thailand, or they're living in the Philippines, or they're living in South Africa, or they're traveling to Kenya. I'm like, we have dudes all over the place, and they're willing to share their information, their experiences and stuff. I'm like, we should be a network. We should be a worldwide global force.
Oh yeah, because I'm on the Facebook group too, the Black Man's Options. I've been
Mhm.
for years. I've been doing it for years. So
And you're married to a Brazilian, right?
yes, sir.
Okay, then,
I'm going on 6 years.
man, happy man, huh?
Yep, she's back there and still don't speak English, man. Go figure.
Man, hey, look, that's okay. That's
I'm not
okay.
complaining,
Not complaining.
because
You sound stress free.
yeah, I'm very calm. I'm not, even my bad days when I come home, it's just relaxed.
Man, and that's what so many black men crave.
That's
And
probably
see,
why they don't like to hear me talk.
yeah, because they
To
jealous.
be-
Yeah, because they're jealous. That's what that is. And I think that's another thing too. It's like, yo, you're dealing with combative women. That's stressful. And if you don't have an outlet, man, it's not good to hold that stress in.
Yeah, I think that's the part. And then the good sisters out there, we got a couple that's in the chat, but the good sisters that are listening, they just need to take notes.
Well, you know what? This is what I say to them. It's like the message can't come from us because that's already been demonstrated that they don't want to hear what we have to say.
Right.
That message has to come from black women, because if it comes from us, it's bashing.
Right. Yeah.
But if it comes from them, it may get across. But they get the same vitriol too, pick me's and all this other stuff. So some of them just can't let go. And I always say, hard head make a soft behind, and they don't believe fat meat is greasy. But
Yeah.
some of them about to find out.
Yeah, because they safe over, the good sisters, they safe over here. They're very comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a matter of man. I try to encourage everybody to at least be fair, be honest, and get the things that you know that you deserve. Period. Now, if you know you don't deserve that and you trying to demand it, that's a Kevin Samuels issue, right?
Man, he was like the pinnacle of what the Black Manosphere has been talking about. And he took a lot of the things mainstream, and now with the advent of the internet, people can compare notes and can make critical decisions based on the information that's out there. Ray knows we actually have a trip going back to South Africa, November the 10th through the 21st. If you go to our Facebook page, you can first join the group and answer the questions, and then you can go and look at our event. That's actually coming up pretty quick, and we're trying to limit that to 15 people. And right now we've got 9 people. So I think if you want or you're interested in it, act fast. And that's not a sales pitch either. That's literally how dudes reacted when we came back from our first trip. They were like, wow, we didn't think South Africa was like that. They thought it was grass huts and
Shaka Zulu.
Yeah, it's everything. But when you pull up to the spot and they got the McLarens and the Rolls Royce trucks and stuff. We attended an event. They had like 4 McLarens pulling up, and we were in the hood. So it changes your perception about a lot of what you've been told about Africa, South Africa in particular.
And Jamil around the world said he needs this picture, so he just
I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, Jamil. He's gonna have to either mail it to you. You got to send him a Cash App or whatnot.
You gotta, send me the address on my email, and my email is my name except for the art, just newstyletv@gmail.
Okay, what I'll do is I'll forward that email to Jamil, and he can coordinate with you about that. I can work that out.
And I'll send that, but that's what I do on my Sundays. And hey, if you wanna, we'll talk off the air because everybody's like, oh, we want to find out what they planning. We don't have to.
Yeah, well, like I said, we're here to share, and the big thing for us is we got a lot of stuff. The end of the year, Frustrated 3 is coming up. Grease is going to have his initial hosting event in New York, August 27th, and I think that's going to be a very eventful showing. And I think once that's out, then we'll be promoting. So we'd love to come on your show and promote and share. And I know Coach, he just can't wait to get on the road because he loves the controversial stuff, and he like to talk that junk.
yeah. Tell him, actually, because he doesn't know my YouTube name, but tell him I wouldn't mind having all you guys come up and have a discussion and engage with the Manosphere. More with them.
Yeah, most definitely. Like I said, I know he definitely wants to be doing a lot of promo for that, because I think this is going to be, we always say this is the end of the trilogy. This is the return of the Blackman option. So
yeah, that's what we had to put here on the title. So
the return of the Blackman's option instead of Return of the Jedi.
Right.
Yeah.
I got ideals coming in my head too. Like,
yeah.
Lifesaver with a passport at the end,
Yeah, it's the trilogy, F3, the trilogy, Return of the Blackman's option. And Luke Skywalker.
I know Luke running from the United States.
Matrix chick. He can't use the Force on him. They don't know the power of the dark side.
I'm telling you. And he got like a hand pulling her, but the hand got fingernail polish pulling him out of it.
Yeah,
it's like
those Wolverine fingernails. I'm like, what in the collard greens and corn?
So they got me.
Exactly. So, but yeah, definitely that. And we have the trip coming up, and just the BMO radio coming back. All that stuff. And we're really looking forward to that. Plus, we like to do a lot of meetups in the States. And I think that's another thing that we we want to get back to. It was just hard because of everything, different states, different COVID restrictions. It kind of put a damper on some of that stuff. But now we've been able to kind of get back into a groove, and we want to go out there and meet brothers. You know, we did one in Atlanta a couple years ago, great turnout. New York, Cali, in LA, you know, great turnout. Brothers showed up, and it was just good to fellowship with brothers in the group, because it's one thing to put a face to them, and then you see them in person and you chop it up, and it's like, yo, you got that sense of camaraderie that you know you want to share, because you can't share everything about your travels with regulars that never traveled. They just don't get it.
Yeah, they just imagine and then put two and two together with like video footage of things that happened back in 1975. And
right. Yeah, they want to. First thing they want to do is the two questions I get the most is what are the women like? And I tell them like a bucket of chicken. They got 2 legs, 2 thighs, and 2 breasts. What else you want to know?
I'm stealing that one.
Yeah. Hold on. Praise Mark too, but anyway, go ahead.
Everything in a bucket of chicken.
Yeah.
Okay.
They tell me with that, like how it's women. I tell them like a bucket of chicken, 2 legs, 2 thighs, and 2 breasts. What else you want to know? So, and they just want to know, you know, do they feel safe over there? It's like, man, look, you can get robbed and killed right here in the States. I said, you ain't checked out the news lately? So
yeah. Plus, you know, from my in-laws, they always say that most people that really get, you know, touched up are people that don't look like us.
Right, exactly.
Okay, they don't mess with us over there.
Right.
So unless you looking for something, you know,
Yeah. And one more thing, now that you said that, it's like when I talk about being an ambassador, I'm talking about they see you and put you in high regards because they know that the struggle that Black people have faced in this country, and they identify with that. Yeah. So when you start going to these countries and you throwing up money in the air, that's disrespectful.
Yeah.
That's very disrespectful. If you want to give somebody some money, just hand them the money. But for you as a Black man, American Black man, to throw money up in the air, they view you as a gringo with a sense of entitlement. And then, okay, if that's the way you feel, then you're not who we thought you were. So we're going to treat you just like we treat the other gringos that's not melanated.
You know, just remind people, if they want to be that philanthropy spirit or whatever, give them the money, and then just I would put my hand on my heart and say, figure come deals. You know, that'll get you far. You know, if you just say, here, take it, nigga. Then this, you
know, and you know, the other thing that we do, we brief people on protocol, on how to operate and how to interact when you're there. And a lot of dudes, they think they can just show up like and operate the way they do in the Matrix. And some of them, they get their feelings hurt. I'm like, because you showing up in a country where you don't speak the language and you don't know how the system works and you have no support group. So you down there dolo.
Yeah. Yeah. So as y'all heard, I didn't hear anything about like, you know, only having tricking money and all that. This was about everything, doing the responsible thing when you're traveling, and make sure you're linking up with people. You know, I mean, I didn't go solo when I was going because I had my frat brothers, you know.
Right.
So that's just the bottom line, man. I just hope that people enjoy their life, because you only got so much time on this earth. So at least, you know, get some travel time in so you can have experience and share that with your children.
You're definitely right. Definitely right. The best thing that you can do is, if you have children, get them a passport. One of the brothers that I just talked to him the other day, he owns a restaurant in Copacabana. It's a Caribbean place. And we were talking, and he said he took his 12-year-old son down there for the summer. And he was showing pictures with his 12-year-old son with the young girls that he met. And he said he can't wait for him to get back here and go to school and see how he operates. I said, bro, your little son, he's 12 years old. He said, you ain't gonna be able to tell him nothing. Them little girls are gonna feel that energy that he's got on him, that Brazilian golden bronze energy. Man, he gonna be feeling himself, and they're gonna be all over him. I told him, I said, you ain't got to worry about that. I said, you already know how you're gonna go, because even at 12 years old, he's gonna see. Wait a minute, I was in Brazil with all these attractive women for the summer. I
And
come
his
back to
mom
the States.
and his mom gonna do one of these numbers.
Man, look, hey, like I said, yeah, I told him, I said, man, look, let me just when we chop it up, tell me what happened, what he said, because I'm very curious to see what the 12-year-old is going to say. But at 12 years old, he got his son his passport, and he's taking him out the country. So, man, that's the best gift a father can give. And we've had trips where a guy, he brought all three of his sons on one of our group trips. He brought all three of them to Brazil, and it was during Carnival, and that changed their lives. He said they changed their lives. They ain't been home since.
Yeah, my son. Oof. Well, we'll see when he finishes college, but I guess he's trying to be a loyalist because of his mom. But give him time. He'll figure it out.
Yeah, he'll figure it out.
I told him that. But anyhow, so I guess nobody wanted to come up and have any questions or what have you. So I guess we covered everything, or are too afraid to address the obvious without looking a certain way.
Right.
But I appreciate Mr. Z for the Cash App.
Thank you, Jesus.
And you covered as much as you could, right?
Much as I could.
Okay. So I appreciate everybody out there in the chat participating and sticking with the kid, because usually when I go on, it's like Night at Apollo, but everybody's doing their thing. And yeah, man, so we'll chop it up and put some things together, try to get your channel back up and everything, and get your whole thing circulating, especially through this space, because a lot of things that Charles, you guys in general, were pretty much pushing. This what a lot of people were talking about. So now we're going to get it back going.
Yes, we're gonna get it cracking. Like I said earlier before, don't call it a comeback, because we've been here for years, and we posting receipts to show you we've been here for years.
That's right. All right. So appreciate everybody for coming through. So we're going to say peace and hair grease.